Hey, everyone, welcome to Sweet Lines. Today, we've got something super fun and creative lined up. We're drawing a cute little cookie character, and guess what? He's wearing glasses. But that's not all, this cookie has a story to tell, and I'm going to walk you through both the drawing and the tale behind it. So grab your sketch pads and let's bring this adorable, quirky cookie to life together. In a distant land, tucked away from the ordinary world, there was a place unlike any other, the land of baked goods. This was not just a world of delicious pastries, cookies, and cakes. It was a living, breathing universe where every baked item had its own unique personality, purpose, and place in the grand scheme of things. Among these baked beings lived a small, friendly cookie named Cookies. He wasn't like the other cookies, content with sitting on a shelf or waiting to be dunked in milk. No, Cookies had a restless heart, a heart that craved adventure and the unknown. One sunny morning, as the golden rays of the sun shone brightly over the hills of Biscuit Plains, Cookies stood at the edge of his small village, staring at the vast world beyond. The thought of leaving his simple life behind excited him. There must be more to life than just staying here, he said to himself, feeling the anticipation bubbling inside him like dough rising in the oven. Without further thought, Cookies took his first step into the unknown, setting off on an adventure that would take him to places he'd never imagined. The first challenge came sooner than he expected. After hours of walking through the familiar Biscuit Plains, he reached the famous River of Red Jam. The river's thick, glossy surface sparkled under the sunlight, and the scent of strawberries filled the air. The only way to cross was a shaky caramel bridge that stretched across the jam. Piece of cake, Cookies thought, but as he set foot on the bridge, it creaked and swayed violently. Halfway across, the caramel cracked, sending Cookies plunging into the sticky river below. Panicking as the thick jam began to engulf him, Cookies desperately tried to swim, but the more he struggled, the deeper he sank. Just when he thought he'd be jam-bound forever, a sudden gust of wind whooshed past him, followed by the shadow of a flying pastry. It was a croissant, smooth and golden, soaring through the air on a delicate puff of pastry wings. With a swoop, the croissant dived toward Cookies and pulled him from the sticky depths of the jam, saving him from what surely would have been a sticky end. "You're lucky I was passing by," the croissant chuckled as he set Cookies down safely on the riverbank. "Where are you headed, little guy?" Cookies explained his quest for adventure, and the croissant nodded thoughtfully. "If you're looking for adventure, you should head to Doe Valley. It's a mysterious place, full of unpredictable challenges. They say no one leaves the valley the same as they entered it." The mention of Doe Valley piqued Cookies' curiosity. He thanked the croissant for his help and pressed on, excitement surging through him once again. As he ventured farther, the scenery began to change. The air became thicker with flour dust, and the ground beneath his feet felt more like soft, pliable dough than solid earth. This was it, Doe Valley. As soon as Cookies stepped into the valley, he felt the weight of the place. It was calm, almost too calm, as if the valley itself was waiting for something, or someone. The hills of dough stretched endlessly, and the silence was broken only by the occasional puff of flour blowing in the wind. Here, the sky seemed closer, as if made of a thin layer of powdered sugar. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble beneath his feet. Out of nowhere, a wave of dough started rising, taking the shape of massive creatures made entirely of raw, unbaked dough. These dough golems, as they were known, were slow but powerful, and they began lumbering toward Cookies. With no weapon in sight, Cookies realized he needed to think fast. He spotted a small patch of melted butter nearby. Thinking on his feet, Cookies sprinted toward it and slid through the butter, covering himself in the slick liquid. The dough golems, confused by his swift movements, tried to grab him, but their doughy hands slipped right off his buttery body. Using the momentum, Cookies skated past the golems and dove behind a boulder made of cinnamon roll dough, narrowly avoiding capture. Breathing heavily, Cookies wiped his brow, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "That was too close," he muttered. As he caught his breath, an imposing figure emerged from the valley, Brioche the Elder, the wise and ancient ruler of Doe Valley. With his golden crust and soft, warm interior, Brioche was both a protector and a teacher for those who dared to venture into the valley. "You are brave, young Cookies, but bravery alone won't be enough here," Brioche said in a deep, resonant voice. This valley tests not just your strength, but your patience. Too many adventurers rush through life like dough in a hot oven. The secret is knowing when to rise slowly and when to act swiftly. Cookies nodded, absorbing Brioche's wisdom. The lesson resonated with him. Life wasn't just about rushing forward into the unknown. Sometimes, you needed to pause, to rise slowly, and let things develop. After spending time in the valley, Cookies felt ready for his next challenge, but he knew Brioche's words would stay with him for the rest of his journey. Leaving Dough Valley behind, Cookies set his sights on the final destination of his adventure, the Dark Chocolate Mountain. This towering mountain, made entirely of rich, bitter chocolate, was notorious for being nearly impossible to climb. Legends spoke of adventurers who had tried to reach its summit but failed, overwhelmed by the heat and the endless challenges that awaited. As Cookies approached the mountain, the air grew heavy with the aroma of dark chocolate. The ground was covered in molten rivers of melted chocolate that made each step treacherous. He began his ascent, but the higher he climbed, the hotter it became. Waves of chocolate steam hissed up from cracks in the ground, making the air thick and stifling. Cookies pushed on, but exhaustion was starting to take hold. Suddenly, he heard a cheerful voice from behind. "Hey, need a little help?" It was a small, energetic cinnamon roll with a twinkle in her icing. She introduced herself as Sina, a fellow adventurer who loved a good challenge. Sina was quick on her feet and seemed to know the mountain well, so she offered to help Cookies reach the top. Together, they navigated the perils of Dark Chocolate Mountain, jumping over molten chocolate rivers, scaling steep walls of hardened cocoa, and dodging bursts of hot chocolate steam. The teamwork between Cookies and Sina was seamless. Where one faltered, the other stepped in. At one point, they encountered a chasm too wide to leap across. Using Sina's stretchy cinnamon dough as a makeshift slingshot, Cookies was launched across the gap, pulling Sina along with him on a cinnamon rope. After days of climbing, they finally reached the summit. The view was breathtaking. Below them stretched the entire land of baked goods, from the Biscuit Plains to Dough Valley. But at the peak, there was something even more impressive, a circle of ancient baked goods, known as the Council of Pastry Sages, wise beings who had witnessed every adventure in the land. Their presence was serene, almost divine. One of the sages, an old, wrinkled pound cake with a soft voice, spoke, "You have come far, little Cookies. But remember, the greatest adventure is not in reaching the summit, but in understanding the journey itself. You have learned that strength comes not just from moving forward, but from knowing when to pause and when to rely on others. Every piece of this world has a place and a purpose, just like you." Cookies felt a deep sense of fulfillment as he realized the truth of the sage's words. His journey was never about reaching the top or finding some grand treasure. The real treasure was in the friends he had made, the challenges he had faced, and the lessons he had learned along the way. With a grateful heart, Cookies and Sina made their way back down the mountain, ready to share their stories and newfound wisdom with the rest of the world. Cookies knew that while this adventure was over, many more awaited him in the land of baked goods, and with each new journey, he would rise just a little higher, just like perfectly baked dough. Thanks for joining me on this sweet adventure today. I hope you enjoyed drawing our adorable cookie character as much as I did. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a daily upload. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite cookie flavor? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.